Ho ho ho, may your holly be well and truly ivied, and your balls are seasonally jingly. I bet you can't wait to get your hands on Santa's bulging sack, can you? Then we can get completely Wenceslas-lost. Yes, it's that special time of year where I cobble together a special clip show so I don't have to make a new one. Festive upcycling. But this year, there's 3. Yes, 3 coming your way on the glorious tube of you. So pour yourself a flagon of eggnog, have the sick bucket on standby, settle back and enjoy the wonders of the Drum Fettler celebrity compilations. Deck the halls with bowls of holly, ho ho ho. Are you enjoying your Christmas? I do hope so, and I hope your balls are still very jingly. Anyway, here we are at Fettling Central, and it's the 3rd and final instalment of this year's Christmas specials. Yes, this is the one you've been waiting for. It's all about the Yellow Premier Soundwave kit that was used by John Coughlin with Status Quo way back in 1981. It went missing in the early 80s, AWOL, missing in action, lost, but then it was found again, and it was in a bit of a state, and obviously hadn't had a particularly good life since then, so it came to Blenheim Towers for a full fettle and a rewrap. So we join the action now, just as the new yellow wrap arrives at Fettling Central.
Lovely, lovely, lovely shiny new wrap. And now, the next bit. 14 inches done. All I need to do now is go through this little tin of metal bits, clean them all up and get them fitted back on the shelf. People often say to me, Mike, put your clothes on and get out of my house. People often say to me, Mike, how do you get those old rusty deteriorated backwashers so shiny? Well, I'll show you. Well, I think that's looking a lot better. Only another 15 to go. First drum's done. Just letting the lacquer inside dry off, and then tomorrow we can put the heads, hoops, rods on, tune it up, and who knows, maybe even hit it. I'm going to put the old heads back on for now until we've got the new ones through, just so we can get the drum together and see what it looks like fully assembled. Go. That looks better now, doesn't it? Nice one. Okay, now same again for the 13 inch. This is all very pretty, isn't it? Very nice. This is a 16-inch shell, as you can see, it's stripped down, ready to go. first floor tom's done. Now let's get stuck into that 24-inch bass drum. It's a 24-inch shell, all stripped back, ready now for wrapping, but before we do that, I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on the inside of the shell because it's a little bit mucky in places. It doesn't look too clever, so we need to get that sorted out before we get on with the wrap. Right, that's the bass drum inside done. It's a lot cleaner. I haven't managed to get rid of all of the marks, but I really don't want to go too mad sanding and exposing plies underneath, which can happen if you overdo it. I think that's done. I think that's the best that we're going to get it, but it looks considerably better, which is what we're after. Got the wrap cut. Here we go. Now it's been trimmed to the right size, just fallen on the floor. A bit for the inlay, for the hoop. I need 2 of those, of course. Bass drum lugs. Need to get them cleaned, which means cleaning the insert plates and the swivel nuts and the back washers. It's very time consuming, it's very tedious, but it has to be done, so I better get stuck in. This is the really time-consuming stuff, but it's really makes it worthwhile. It's worth the effort just to get all these small components. So you've got like a filthy insert plate like that, and then just a few seconds. When it's nice and shiny like that, it's got to be worth the effort. Just had a consignment of bits, bobs, Premier parts, lots of lugs, lots of hand nuts and snare parts, and lots and lots of loveliness. But the best thing is I've got one of these, and it's the 39235 with the 9.5mm hole for the cymbal arm mount on the bass drum, which is great. I've been waiting ages for one of these. So patience is a virtue. It always comes to he who waits and he who buys lots and lots of spare parts. Okie dokie, that's the bass drum done. I've given the inside a coat of lacquer to smarten it up. There's still a few of these dark marks, but as I said, I really don't want to sand them back too hard in case I go through the plies. I can't put the heads on just yet because I've got to do the hoops, and once the hoops are done, then the heads can go on and it's ready to rock. Okay, that's a 12-inch. It's all done. That's all finished. Brilliant. That's 12 completed. Well, bar the badge. Okay, and the yellow kit. Where are we? Well, the bass drum's done. Apart from the hoops, we need to clean those up, repaint them, lacquer them, and put some new inlays in. The 10-inch still outstanding. 12-inch, that's done. The 13 inch is done, the 14 inch is done, the 16 inch is done, 18 is next. When that's done, I'll show you what it looks like. It's time for some oops. I need to strip these back, get rid of the old insert, sand them back, spray them, give them a new coat of clear coat, and then cut some yellow inserts. So it's the old colouring cuffs all match and everything's tickety-boo. Bass drum hoops are done. Just need to get the inlays cut and fitted. They've come up really, really nicely. Very pleased with that. Yes, they're going to look very smart. The bass drum is done. All finished. The only thing I need to get is the little 39235 with the 9.5mm hole for the cymbal arm, and that is it. It's looking very, very smart.
Right, that's the 18 done. I'm just waiting for the glue to go off, the adhesive. We'll leave that overnight, and then I can put the rest of the lugs on, and the floor tom leg mounts, the internal damper, and of course, last but by no means least, the iconic badge. So we'll get back to you when that's done. Just fitting the 39235 mounts to the 18-inch floor tom, and I was reminded of something that I have seen before that's always worth checking if you're doing a bit of fettlage on your old floor toms. Now, this is the mount in question. Now, when I took it off, I noticed something that wasn't quite right about it. What it is inside you tighten up that wing nut there, and it tightens up against one of these, which is an eye bolt, and that pulls against the leg, keeps things tight, stops your legs from slipping. However, in this one there is an eye bolt like this, when it should have an eye bolt like this. So it's got an eye bolt like this, and it should have this. What's the difference, I hear you say?
What's the difference?
Well, I'll tell you. Have another look. Yes, this one is for an 11.5mm leg, and this one is for a 9.5mm leg, or 3/8 of an inch in old money. The interesting thing is it still worked with this, because this is fairly new and it doesn't have any wear on it, but it still worked with the thinner leg, the thinner style leg, which is what this is here. But obviously I'm going to change it because we want to have the right components in there. So it's always worth checking these things out, just to make sure you get it right, because as we all know, these eye bolts do have a propensity to wear and you get a bit of slippage, and we don't like getting too slippy, do we? No, well, not inadvertently. Slipperiness is only best when it's on purpose. And there it is, the 18's all done, all finished. Now we need to think about getting on with that little turn-inch. Excellent. Right, well that's the badge on the 12-inch done, which is rather nice. Now, well, yes, we're on to the 10-inch now, which is the last one to be done, and that means we can then set the kit up once we've got all the hardware, which I know it's on its way. Excellent. Well, let's get on with the 10-inch, shall we? Here we go. Wrap all cut in place. Ready to start getting some lugs on. Now I'm just going to give the lugs a quick polish before we fit them. Right, we're all done. That's the 10-inch finished. So we've got the whole family together now. We've got the 10-inch, the 12-inch, 13-inch, 14-inch, 16-inch. The 18-inch is in its own little quilt cover there, as is the 24-inch bass drum, all nice and warm, protected from the dust that proliferates here in the Drum Fettler's lair. So all that remains now is for us to set the kit up. We can now go direct to deepest equatorial Oxfordshire for a full report from Russ, John Coughlan's drum tech, on the drum kit, as John has received it. So let's see what he thinks.
Hi, this is Russ Chad, and what you're looking at is a 1981 Premier Soundwave kit that's just been restored by Mike Ellis at Blenheim Drums, and I'm very proud to introduce the legend that is John Coughlan, who played with Status Quo from the mid-60s right through to 1981. Yep. And this particular drum kit he played on his last tour with Status Quo in 1981, the Never Too Late tour. And what we've actually got here is the tom that John actually kept back. So this kit was lost for years and years and years. Today we're reuniting the kit with the tom that John kept back, which is a 14-inch tom. So tell us a little bit about this this tom and the kit, John.
Yeah, Premier said to me many years ago, we want to give you a kit, you know, I can't remember the exact words, but they said, what colour would you like? And for some reason I said yellow. I don't know why, because everyone thought it might be green, my favourite colour for reasons of the, you know, Military Vehicle Trust. Anyway, then they said, oh, okay, and I think they weren't too sure, but they did a fantastic job. And it is so nice really to see this kit again, and do you know, I didn't realise how big it was, because at the moment I use a different kit, but anyway, this is superb, and also it is really been, you know, looked after and cleaned up, and it is beautifully tuned, and it was so nice to be reunited with it, really.
Yeah, it's this is the biggest kit you used in Quo, because I mean the only two things missing, there's two things missing from this kit. Can you remember what they are?
One's a cowbell. Oh, the gong, everyone was using gongs. Yeah, that's not here, but oh, of course, yes, and the timpani, which
would have lived there next to the extra toms. So you
Yeah.
had the timps
Yeah.
to your left,
That's right.
and the gong behind.
But we don't have that, so basically
We don't have a van big enough to carry it.
in an Arctic. But it, you know, really, man, it is so nice to see this kit. In fact, I might get some sticks and I might just
Why not?
play it. Yeah, this kit, as you notice, there's quite a few tom-toms. These days I don't use as many, I only use, you know, two. But we used two here for a track called Don't Drive My Car, which was like this. And there was also wonderful. You notice there's a hole in the bass drum. Well, I never do that these days, but I suppose in those days, in the 70s, the sound engineer liked to have the front head taken off and put a mic in there, but you know, it sounded great at the time. Just Supposing was another track that we recorded. Francis wrote that, I think, and I copied the drum parts that he put on the initial idea, which was tired now. Yeah, lovely kit. It is awesome, mate, and it's been tuned by a great character who's tuned it, and it is so nice to see this kit again. And yeah, I just think a job well done, and it's a great kit made by Premier Drums. And also, you probably noticed the cymbals are pasty, which I did use when I was with the band, and I think they're 202s. Yeah, they are. Then this one's a nice ride. And that's the other one. That's not from that same company.
Well, as promised, the Drum Fettler has made it to the Quo Convention in Minehead. Very proud to be here, not only with the kit that was restored, but with John Coughlin, the legendary, and Russ Chad, his drum tech. So John, I hope you're happy with the kit.
I'm amazed because you know, we did a rehearsal some time ago, and Russ brought the kit round, and I was just amazed how massive it was, you know, the sound. And I'm pleased to say that I'm going to use it tonight.
Excellent.
You know, because it's a lot of fans will remember it when I use it, maybe especially when we did Don't Drive My Car.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately we're not doing tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember it very well as a young chap, and seeing it like on TV on Top of the Pops and things like that. So it is an iconic kit, and it's great to see it back. And from a personal point of view, I'm very, very proud to have been instrumental in rescuing it and putting it all back together and everything.
And it was a rescue because it didn't look anything like it does now. I mean, the chrome looks great on it and the wrap, but when we acquired the kit, when I acquired the kit, it was a different colour, but it did have some distinctive features, which...
Well, it was fairly obvious that Russ's suspicions were correct, that it was the kit. I reckon it definitely is, because things like this, it's only a small thing, the cymbal arm holder. This wasn't a standard issue by this time on Premier kit, so it must have been something that was asked for, a special order, because they'd stopped doing these by then. And also because it was this particular, I'm getting all nerdy and technical now, but that was a giveaway. And not to mention the sizes, because I also did a bit of research just to confirm that the 10 and the 12 were not available in Soundwave sizes in 1980, 1981.
Really?
So they must have made those specially for you.
Because I remember when they said they were going to make a kit for me, it was quite strange that they said what colour, and I thought, you know, I was a bit confused on what colour I would choose.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, I just said yellow. And I remember them going, oh, not yellow. But they made it. They made it for me, and I just think it's an awesome kit, and it's so nice to be playing that again.
That's great. It looks and sounds fantastic, and I'm really pleased to see you two reunited.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Tonight will be the big unveiling.
Yeah.
So nobody's in, apart from the crew, nobody's here, so nobody knows it's actually happening at all. It's been a complete secret, hasn't it?
I've really struggled to keep quiet about this. I've said, for the last 6 months has been. I just wanted to tell somebody about it, and I couldn't.
I know what you mean. I was the same as well, and I thought, shall I? And I thought, no, because what will happen if it goes out? And, somebody will take a picture, or not take a picture. They'll say it's going to be that kit, and that takes the magic away. So I think once is the tabs tonight or not?
There is. So the curtains will open, and there'll be smoke and lights and everything, and intro like the old quote days and that. And that's the first. The punters will actually see the kit unveiled when the curtains open. So it's going to be a magical time later. It really is. It's I'm going to be watching the reaction from the audience.
Great. Sorry. Hello. Wonderful. Well, it's great to have been part of it, and thank you, John.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for restoring.
It's brilliant.
Thanks for all your help.
Thanks, Russ.
Mike,
really
brilliant.
appreciate it.
Good.
Okay. Well, I think now is the time for a bit of rock and roll. Well, what a jolly time was had by all for that one. That was great, wasn't it? Really enjoyed that. And what a great gig it was too. Anyway, that's it for 2020. I'll see you sometime next year for a new season of the Drum Fettler, all being well. Happy New Year.